Okay, so we're going to start the session today lying on our back and doing a little bit of breathing. If you normally use a little support under your head and that helps your neck feel a bit more relaxed, go ahead and support yourself if you want a little head block. I'm going to mute, actually, sorry, I should have done it before. There's less feedback. Okay, so we're lying on our back, knees are bent, feet flat down, and we're just taking a little moment to breathe a little bit. So if you place your hands on your tummy, so one hand low down, one hand high, and just calmly, I want you to belly breathe. So as we breathe, we are trying to just be really relaxed and just feel your abdominal wall rise up as you breathe in. So your belly will rise. And then as you breathe out, just let the belly sink. Just really relax, like you're lying on the beach. And this is just a really relaxed way of breathing, how we might breathe if we were lying in bed. And you can feel the relationship of your center body, your abdominals, with the breathing process. However, we don't try to breathe like this normally in Pilates. So normally our breath in Pilates, we're trying to breathe a bit more deliberately with the ribs. So if we move into that type of breathing pattern, slide the hands to the side of the rib cage and just try and encourage the breath a little more into the back and side of the ribs. And what we really want is a three-dimensional expansion. So the rib cage should expand to the front, to the side, and to the back. And in general, we tend to be a little stickier in the back and side expansion, and we can go up easily, but not down and back. So the focus is trying to encourage that rib cage to expand to the back and sides. Now, our final little breathing cue I'm going to do is if you take your fingertips and walk your fingertips around the lower rib area, and as you come together, just your ribs meet at the base of your sternum, your breastbone. And if you just poke your two little fingertips into that place where the ribs meet, bottom of the sternum, and I want you to just imagine as you breathe out, the air is going to be expelled from an imaginary hole at that place. So breathe, let the ribs breathe out and let the ribs soften down and back as you imagine that exhale. As if somebody's popped a balloon, that's where the breath is leaving your body. And that cue is just to help us relax the back ribs down. Often that's a little bit of a tight spot in our bodies and our ribs are sort of shoved up a bit. So just really calm, breathe out, let the ribs settle down. And we're going to just relax our arms now and just let your back feel nice and relaxed. Breathe and just think of encouraging that rib breathing. And start to feel some connection to your deep abs. So really gently to begin with, just see if you can feel some tone in your low belly, as if you're almost zipping up a tight pair of trousers from your pubic bone to your navel. And you want to feel a little bit more tone on the breath out, because that's when those muscles will be naturally engaging a bit more. And we're going to do some pelvic tilt. So really simple, our beginning this morning. We're going to deepen our abdominals as we breathe out, allow the lower back to lengthen and flatten, and the tailbone to tip up. Really tiny little tilt, and then just releasing the tailbone back. Okay, so it's not about how big it is, but can you feel your deep abdominals? Can you lengthen your lower spine a little bit as you curl your tail into that tilt? And then releasing the pelvis back. Last one, breathing out, deepening our abdominals. Just pause in your little tilt and keep that positioning and just try and really feel some good connections to your lower abdominals here. Right and left side, try and really feel some tone. Now we're going to gently level our pelvis, only as level as you can still feel some low abdominal connection. So if it might be still a little bit tough, that's okay, but make sure you can still feel some ab support. Okay, we're going to go into a knee fold, really gentle. Think of it really stabilizing from that deep core center. And we're going to breathe out, deepen the belly, and just pick up a leg. And then put it all the way down without your spine changing. We're going to do alternate legs. So breathing out, deepening the abs and picking up leg number 2. And then coming back down. Okay, just repeat it a few times. Just getting your head back into Pilates, trying to feel that sense of connection. Last one to the right. And down. Now we're going to make it a little harder. However, you can stay on that base level if you prefer. One leg, and as long as you're feeling pretty good, feel that deep ab tone, trying to pick up leg number 2. See if you can hold yourself. Quite a difficult position for the body to hold. Ribs are down, back is long. We're going to bring our feet down one by one. And we're going to repeat a couple of times. So we're trying to bring our legs up and down without the spine arching, keeping stability in our center. Down. We're going to last time. So I'm trying to feel that abdominal tone. Pick up one leg. Breathe out, pick up leg number 2. And then bring yourself down 1. And down 2. Good. And then just take it almost to relax again. We're going to go back to our pelvic tilts. And this time we're going to increase it into a pelvic curl where we roll the hips up. So deepening the abs as you tilt the pelvis. Keep curling the tailbone under. And you're going to roll up through your spine. And then when you're there, hold for a moment. And we breathe out. We're going to roll back down, upper back, back of the ribs, back of the waist, down to our lower back, and then finally the pelvis. Good. Now just keep repeating. So a basic pelvic curl. We're deepening the abdominals as we tilt, standing on your feet as you roll up through your hips, reaching the knees forward. Think of the sole of the foot pressing down to hold you there, and then we're going to roll down through our backs. 2 more times, nice and simple. Try and pay attention to how your body feels and noticing where there's maybe it feels a little bit stiff, maybe the spine doesn't want to move as easily. Maybe one side you notice more than the other side. Just kind of observe your own body so you can kind of target the exercises to best suit your spine. Good. Now we're going to do a couple of times with the arms reaching back over the head. So reach the arms to the ceiling, palms facing in, and I'm going to tilt my pelvis and roll up one more time into our pelvic curl. Okay, now reach the arms back over the head and imagine you're reaching back to touch something and the crown of my head is reaching back to the wall. And now keep that energy of reach and soften the chest down, lower down through the back of the ribs, through the back of the waist, down through the lower back, all the way down until eventually your pelvis. Good. Bringing the arms back up, and we're going to repeat. So I'm going to deepen my abdominals, tilt the pelvis, peel the spine off the mat, reach the arms back over my head, try and feel as if I'm growing taller through the back of my neck. So I'm trying to elongate my spine. And as I roll down the spine, I'm trying to imagine I'm reaching each little vertebra further away from my head and trying to get a little more length and space in my back. All the way down until your tail's down. Good. Now I'm going to take my hands and interlace them behind my head. I'm going to go into just a basic abdominal curl up. So when you're ready, breathing out, curl the chest up, and then looking at your knees. Hold it if you can for a breath or 2 here. Head is heavy in my hands. Feeling a little bit of shakiness in the abs. And then lowering the spine back down. Nice and simple. Try and check you're carrying your head. So there shouldn't be any kind of tension. I mean, your neck is working a little bit, but you shouldn't feel, it shouldn't be pain or anything. It shouldn't be tight. And then lowering the body back down. We're going to add our little grab and prove that I often do. So we're going to breathe out, curl the chest up. Reach the arms long and use your arms to see if you could curl a little bit more. The shoulder blades a little higher, doesn't have to be much. Should feel a little more intensity in the abdominal work. Take a breath or 2 here. Now the challenge is, can we let go and not move our spine? So can you let go of your legs and not drop your shoulders back? Can you hold that for a moment? Place the hands back behind the head and then lower the head down to the mat. Okay, we're going to repeat that. So we breathe out and we curl the chest up. I'm going to reach my arms. I'm going to try and curl a tiny bit higher. So my shoulder blades are just hovering, taking a few breaths, nice and calm. Going to challenge myself, can I let go and stay here? And I take another breath, hands back behind the head, and then lowering the head down. We're going to do it one more time. A little extra add-on as well, this one. So breathe out, curl up. Last time, reach, grab, see if you could curl a little taller. Nice and calm. Take your hands behind your head. If you can, stay here, hands behind the head, abdominal curl up. I'm going to twist my right shoulder diagonally across to my left knee. Hold. Come through center, nice and steady. It's pretty challenging. Opposite shoulder to knee. Come through center, one more each way. Breathing out, rotate. Come through center, last one. All the way down, and then rest my head down. Good, and now I'm going to hug my knees into my chest and just take a really kind of relaxed little stretch and rock about. Good, and then I'm going to bring my feet down. We're going to do a really simple spine twist. So feet on the floor, legs together, feet together, arms out in a T, and just take a moment to really relax your arms. Arms are heavy, chest is relaxed and open, and I'm going to concentrate my energy on hugging my inner thighs together and keeping my ribs soft and down. Okay, I'm going to let my two knees go to one side. My opposite shoulder stays relaxed. And now think of using your abs, drawing them in to pull your knees back to the ceiling almost. So we inhale, knees go one way, and exhale back to center. So you're really thinking all this movement in the waist, all those abdominals are helping you move your pelvis back and forward, or side to side rather. And it should feel pretty nice, not too strenuous, should feel good. One more each way. Last time. And all the way back, good. And I'm gonna hug my knees into my chest again. And I'm gonna do a little rock up sit. If you wanna roll to the side and use your hands, you can. Otherwise, just do a little rock up to sitting. And we're gonna go into some half roll backs, beginning with that support of the arms. So my hands are behind my thighs. If I sit up nice and tall, I'm kind of on top of my sitting bones. Shoulders are over hips. Now I'm going to deepen my abs and curl my tailbone. So I'm trying to round my lower back and pull my tailbone underneath me. And then sit myself up. Just a couple of times, it's a little prep. So we're trying to loosen the lower back a little bit and try and feel the work in the abdominals and lift the spine up. Okay, last one. So we're going to find that tilted, that C curve, we call it in Pilates. Now keep holding your legs and just lean back until your arms are straighter. Breathing, feeling that little bit of challenge in the abdominals in this position. And then breathe out and round forward. And then sit the spine up. Okay, now there's lots of different levels in this class. So if you feel really confident doing full roll-ups, go ahead, straighten your legs, go into full roll-ups. Otherwise, I'm going to continue with the supported half roll back. So feel free to stay with me or progress into roll-ups if you are ready for that, okay? So curl the tail under if you're doing the supported version with me. So I've got the option to just hold here for a few breaths, keep trying to roll the marble into my navel, tip my pelvis back a little bit more if I can, and breathe out and sit up. Okay, so again, if you're feeling that's a good level for you today, do a few more like that. A progression from there would be to walk down the legs. So we're curling the tail under and we're going a little further by walking our hands down the back of the thighs, rolling our spine down to the mat, and then rolling the spine back up, walk up your legs. Okay, if you find that too challenging, just stay with the first one, just halfway back. And everyone just do one more of their preferred rolling back movement, whether that's a full roll up or a supported one. And we're going to all finish lying on our back, so whatever level you are on, support yourself down, use your arms if you know you need to, otherwise you can do hands free. Roll down onto your back and just have a little rest. Okay, we're going to stretch our hips. So if you take your right leg to tabletop, hands behind the thigh, I'm just interlacing my hands here. I'm trying to square off my pelvis and I'm going to straighten and bend my knee. Just a really simple little hip stretch here. And then keep the leg as straight as it's happy to go this morning and look at your foot, circle the ankle And try to keep the shins still rather. So there's no, the leg itself is still, but the ankle's moving. Other way a few times. Good, and now we're going to flex point a few times. So point the toes, flex the toes. Reach the sit bones down for more stretch. Good, now keep the foot slightly flexed. We're going to do a little toe fist exercise. I'm going to bend my knees so the camera can see it. So I'm going to scrunch my toes up into a little fist with my toes. And then I'm going to try and flare my toes out really wide. So I'm going to curl my toes under, make a little fist, flare them out really wide. This is really waking up the muscles in the bottom of your foot. So you might feel a little crampy. Last one. Good, and then I'm going to put that foot down. We're going to stretch our other hip. So hands behind the left thigh bone, and I'm going to stretch bend. Loosening up a little bit after summer maybe. Okay, holding it there, circling the foot 4 times each way. Trying to really get that ankle moving. Okay, now you can keep your leg in the air. I'm going to bend one so the camera can see it, but we're going to do a little fist. Curl the toes, spread the toes. Curl the toes, spread them out. Can you get daylight between your toes, or are your toes all stuck in a little bit of a lump, as they can be if we're not careful with working our feet? Good, and then bringing the leg down. Okay, we're going to do the single leg circle next. So this is hip joints. If you're feeling like a little bit under the weather, whatever, you can do a knee circle is a gentler option. If you're happy to go with the regular leg circle, arms relaxed, left leg long, foot flexed, and I'm going to take my right leg up to the ceiling. The leg can be a little bent, or it can be straight if that's available and your hips are okay like that. Bit of abdominal control. We're going to circle the leg across the body, circle down, round and up. Across the body, circle down, round and up. Good, now think of your left leg as your anchoring leg. That's really still. When you've done about 5, reverse. Out, round, up. Out, round, up. Try and get that hip moving. Last one. And up. Good, bend it in, have a little stretch again. Okay, switch sides. So remember, you can do a knee circle if the hips or muscles are tight in your hips. Taking the other leg up. Good, anchoring my right leg this time. I'm going to circle across the body, circle round and up. Across the body, round and up. That's it. Try and keep your back nice and tall against the mat. When you've done about 4 or 5, reverse. Out, round and up. Out, round and up. Last one. And up. Bend on in, take a little stretch. We're going to transition to sitting. If you're a full roll-up person, go ahead, practice a roll-up. Otherwise, hug your knees in and do a little rock-up. Shift your body a little forward. We're going to roll like a ball. Make sure you've got a good mat for this, so your back is supported. There's no things behind you you're going to roll into. Start with hands behind the knees for the first version of this. Round the spine into that C curve. Just take a balance, press your feet together, and just pause here and imagine you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans in your deep abs. So pubic bone to navel, feel that deep core connection. That's where we want to initiate our roll, okay? When you're ready, if you're feeling good, you're going to scoop in the belly deeper, curl the tail, roll back to the shoulders, and then roll back up and balance, okay? You can just balance like a ball is another option if your back is feeling really stiff. Don't have to roll. Ideally, we want to really roll through the spine smoothly. If you're feeling really good, you can go into the hands on the ankles traditional position. It's a little bit more challenging. Keeping the shape, one more time. Good, resting the feet down. Now we're going to lie back down and do the single leg stretch. So take a moment to roll down. Use your hands if you want support, or just keep the arms high if you're feeling pretty good. That's going to make it a little bit harder. And then lie down. So the single leg stretch. So we're working our hips and our abdominals. We're going to fold the legs up to tabletop. We're going to lift our head and shoulders up. Take 2 hands on one shin, reach one leg out. Now, grow taller, lift your chest up a little bit more, and reconnect to those deep abs. Try and really feel them drawing in. We're going to switch legs. Switch and pull. 1 and 2. Try and grow tall. Imagine there's 2 little
drawing pins under your shoulders, and if you sag back, you're going to spike yourself. So you're going to keep those shoulders lifted. 4 more times. 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees in, rest your head for a break. Let your head roll about a little bit. We're going to do the crisscross, and we did a sort of prep for this in our warm-up with the feet down. So interlaced hands behind the head. So we're adding a twist, basically. So curl the chest up. Good. Now straighten out, one leg, and now twist your opposite shoulder to the knee. Now see if you can curl up more. Think of those drawing pins under your shoulder blades. And can you twist more? Now really slow motion, other way. Twist and curl up more. One more time, slowly each way. It's hard doing it slow, as I'm sure you can feel. We're going to do 8 quick ones to finish. So speeding it up, but keeping our form. Twisting 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, last one, 8. Hug your knees in, take a rest. Okay, we're going to bring our feet down and just do another little pelvic curl here. So just taking a moment out to stretch out the front of the hips again, spread out the toes, relax the shoulders. We're going to go ahead, tilt the pelvis, and one more time, we'll roll up through the spine. And then breathe out and roll down through the spine. So we want to start to feel that our back gets a little looser throughout the session. So it should feel a little more mobile. And rolling back down. Do it one more time. Thinking of a little bit of the knees reaching forward as you lift your hips up. Rolling the marble into the navel, so you're doing that action of tucking under. And then breathing out and rolling back down. Good, now we're transitioning up to sitting again. So hug your knees in and rock up, or if you're happy doing roll-ups, you're going to reach your arms up and you're going to do a little roll-up to sit. Okay, we're going to do a few seated spine stretches. Feel free to sit on a block or a book or a pillow if your hips feel a little tight today. It will really help you lift up in your back, so it actually is worth it. You'll get more out of the exercise. So sitting tall, there shouldn't be any gripping here. If there is gripping, sit up on something, okay? Lift your spine tall, reach your arms out. Now spine stretch forward, we're going to nod the head, round the spine, and as you round forward, think of the abdominals pulling back, the head reaching forward, and finding that stretch in our back. And then roll the spine up, bottom, middle, and top. Good, keep practicing it. So we're rounding over, flexing the ankles back, reaching forward, and then rolling the spine back up. One more time, sit tall, and then nodding the head, rounding it over, and then rolling the spine back up. Good. Now sit up nice and tall. Just put your hands on your shoulders. So we take the arms out of the equation. And I want you to imagine there's a torch stuck on your breastbone. And we're going to twist to shine the torch to one corner of the room. Pause, and now turn your gaze, your neck and head, and just look over your shoulder a little bit. And then we're going to untwist. So we're rotating to one side, and then we're going to turn and look over our shoulder a little bit. And don't force it, especially if you feel a little bit stiff. Just move, just gentle movement is really great. Okay, finding that rotation. Now, if we reach the arms out longer, when we add the straight arms, still make it come from your spine, your central torso. So it's not just the arms moving, it's really your trunk and your spine, your ribs and then your neck, or your mid-back and then your neck. One more time each way. And just check the legs ideally are really still. If the legs are still, it's going to make you use your spine a little bit more. And then coming back, and then we're going to relax. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to flip over onto our front for some basic spine extension. So lie on your tummies, Hands flat, lined up with the collarbones, elbows are pointing back, my head is just hovering. I'm just taking a moment here, rolling my shoulders back. Now try and find a really long neck, as if there's no wrinkles in your neck. You're trying to reach the crown of the head, be really nice and tall. Now as I inhale, I'm going to lengthen, and I'm thinking of shining my sternum torch forward across the floor in front of me. And then back down. Okay, so we're not after a huge back bend. We're after some mobility in the mid-upper back. Shining the top sternum forward, keeping the neck long. Watch that you're not overusing your neck here, because that's a really tempting to just bend the neck. So try and find a bit of movement a little bit lower between your shoulder blades. That's the bit that gets super duper stiff very often. Good, and then down. Now keep your nose hovering and lift your arms and take your arms back to the side of your body, palms facing in. This is the dart exercise, okay? So we're trying to very gently roll the shoulders back a tiny smidge so that your collarbone feels wide. Hug your arms into the side of the body and shoot the spine tall. Now from here, lightly roll the shoulders back and see if you can lift your upper arms a little bit up. And then lift the chest and shine your torch a little forward. And then back down. Now, if you feel this at all in your lower back, check the pelvis, pubic bone down, press the pelvis into the mat. Try and see if you can just find that little bit of upper back, arms hugging, reach for your ankles. We do it one more time. Shoulders back, chest forward, super tall bodies. And then all the way down. Now just slide your hands on your forehead and have a rest. Rest your head, just take a break. Wiggle your hips a little bit. We're going to do a thigh stretch here. If you have really tight thigh muscles, you might want to use a strap for this, okay? So I'm going to bend my knee and see if I can grab my foot, which you could use a strap for if you know your thighs are super tight, okay? Now, check your lower back isn't taking the brunt of this. You've got to push your pelvis down, your pubic bone down. And then if you're feeling good, you pull your heel to your bum to increase the stretch. And that's going to stretch your quadriceps, the thigh muscle, and the front of the hip. Okay, now part two is if you actually kick your foot into your arm, roll your shoulder back a little bit, and if you can, let the knee lift up a bit. And now you're going to lift your chest a bit too. So it's that kind of back body stretch. Or front body stretch, actually. A little bit of an arch in the back, good. So switch sides, grab the other foot. This should not hurt your knee in any way at all. You should feel the muscles getting a stretch, not any pain in your knee. Hold it there, press the pelvis down, pull the heel towards your bum. And then part two, if you feel good, roll the shoulder back, push the foot away, and then stretch that way around. Good, and then release it. Okay, now we're going to sit back in a rest position. If anyone's got knee problems, you can roll onto your back and hug your knees into your chest instead. But if your knees are good, try and sit your bum back on your feet, round over. Take a little counter stretch, breathing. Now, if you walk your two hands to that one side to side stretch, and then think of really breathing into the rib and expanding it like an accordion opening. And then the other side. So it's that side lower rib area that's often a little bit restricted, a bit sticky. We want to breathe into it. Good. Now we're coming up onto your hands and knees, and we're just going to do some cat stretches, but try to get to know your body. Where do you need this more? So when we're rounding, watch that you're not just pushing up into your shoulders, but you're really curling the pelvis and trying to tuck the tail under. When we arch, watch that it's not a dump in your lower back, but it's a shine the chest forward, and it's a little bit of upper spine. So be mindful to really target the little stiffer zones on your own body. And just go through cat-cow, really simple. Good. Now we're gonna, if your knees are good, we're gonna sit on our feet. If this isn't good for you, kneel up high, and we're gonna do a little shoulder stretch here. So roll your shoulders back, interlace your hands behind your body, And you're going to reach the arms down and away and think of shining your sternum torch up. Okay, so you're stretching a little bit of your upper back and your shoulders. If you can, take the arms a bit away from you. Now release your fingers round your spine, give yourself a hug, and now think of pulling the blades apart, looking down at your knees and breathe into that upper back. And we're going to repeat this stretch. So roll the shoulders back, interlace the hands, roll back, chest up, shoulders back, arms out if you can. Release your fingers, give yourself a hug. Breathing there. Good, and then shake it out. Okay, we're going to do a little front support, often called a plank in fitness. If you want to do elbows, if you've got wrist injuries, that's absolutely fine to change it. If you're okay, we're going to do a little calf stretch version first, actually. So if you come onto your hands and knees, so if you can, spread out your fingers, have the whole hand on the mat, take your left or one of your feet back and tuck your toes. And we're going to start with a little calf stretches. So push back until you feel your calf muscle. And then rock forward and try and bend your 5 toes. So we're really rocking through the ankle and really bending the toe joints. More times, push back a little bit. Now kind of halfway place where the foot's halfway between those extremes. Lift the abs, step your second foot back and just hold yourself in a body weight plank here. Breathe. Push into your hands, keep the tummy lifted. Watch that your bum isn't stuck up in the air. Your head should be a little higher than your ribs and ribs a little higher than your hips. We're going to bring our other knee down and change sides. So little calf stretch on this side, push back and rock forward and pushing back. And really kind of get that lovely big stretch through the back of the calf. Now we're going to find sort of halfway place, step into your plank one more time, breathe, push the floor away, keep the tummy lifted, check your alignment. If you can see yourself in your camera, you can kind of use it like a mirror. So just check that you're in a straight diagonal from heels to head. Take another breath here. And then we're going to come down onto our knees. Give your wrists a little shake out. Okay, we're going to come down onto our back and do a bridge and possibly lifting up one leg. So to roll back, if you're a roll-up person and you're happy doing roll-ups, try and do another 3 or 4 roll-ups here. So just keep the pace going and just move your spine up and back a couple of times. If you know roll-ups aren't your thing, we're going to just do a really slow one going down. So hold on, round your spine, and we're going to do a really slow motion one. But if you're happy, a roll-up happy person, just go for it and try and get 3 or 4 in. Okay, and when we're down, we're going to lie down and we're going to wait for the full roll-up people to catch up with us. So just lying on your back once you're there, bringing your feet a little bit closer in, spreading out the toes a little bit. Okay, so we're going to just do a regular pelvic curl. Roll-up people just join in when you've done your last set of roll-ups. So tilting the pelvis, do a nice simple one again. Rolling up through the body, through the spine, reaching the knees forward, tipping the pelvis, trying to roll that marble into the navel, and then rolling the spine down. Now, if you've had a holiday or you've got any issues, you just do the same again, another 3 or 4. And if you're feeling pretty good, we're going to take a leg up for a slightly more challenge. So just see, how does your body feel today? What's the right choice? Roll yourself up. Now, before you lift a leg up, just tip that pelvis again. Roll the marble into your navel, lengthen the tailbone under. Shift onto one leg and try and take one leg up. Stand on that foot, and we're going to try and do 4 times lower lift our top leg into just a really simple single leg bridge. And then we're going to put that foot down. We're going to roll down and have a little rest before we do the second leg. So roll the spine down. Good. And then we're going to roll the spine up the other way. Check out your position again. Think of that pelvis. Really makes a huge difference. Take the other leg up. Stand on your foot. And again, we're going to lower and lift. 4 times, approximately. Placing the foot down. And then just rolling down through the back. Nice and calm. Good. Once our hips are down, we're going to stretch our legs out, stretch our arms out, and just take a full body stretch and just point flex and just enjoy a lovely stretch out. And then we're going to roll onto our side and do a little side sequence. So I'm lying with my arm under my head. Now, if you do have a shoulder injury, you can prop up your head. If you don't, it's actually a good stretch for your shoulder to lie with your arm in line with my torso. Other hand here. Now I'm going to take my legs a little bit in front of me. And I've got my feet flexed. And that kind of helps me a little bit with the balance. Okay. I'm going to take my top leg up in the air, bring it back a little bit, and try and reach that top leg a little bit longer. So I feel the side body mouse hole thing. Okay. Good. Now just simple up and down lifts, leg lifts. I'm keeping my pelvis still. You can put your hand there if you're not sure. So I'm trying not to do a little wobble. I'm trying to just move only my leg. And think of very parallel, as if you're leading with your heel. And you shouldn't be able to go too high in this one if you're parallel in the hip. And what we want to start to notice is that side, the muscles around the side of the hip are being challenged. 2 more times. Now I'm going to keep my leg lifted and imagine somebody's holding your ankle and they're pulling your leg out of the socket. So you're trying to reach it basically a little longer. And now I'm going to circle tiny little circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then lower the leg down. Okay, now I'm going to bring my 2 legs back in line with my body, and we're going to do the side lift. So I'm going to reach my legs long and try and pop them off the floor. Think of it really lifted up through your waist, abdominal strong. We're going to lift our 2 legs up and down. Breathe out to lift up and down. Imagine the bottom leg is pushing up the top leg almost. Now hold it up there, and can you lower and lift just the bottom leg? So a little inner thigh. These muscles, these exercises are challenging, and they're really kind of targeting that really deep strength around the hips that we really want to support our bodies, help us kind of age well so we can walk well all throughout our life. Now hold it up there. We're going to do a little down, down, up, up. So down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. One more time. Hold. Maybe you can balance here for a few seconds. And then rest on down. Okay, good. Now bend your knees in. And we're going to take our hands behind our head and do a really gentle little sideline twist. So head is relaxed in my arm. Just check that your neck hasn't got any tension. And I'm going to really gently flap open my top elbow and shine my torch, my sternum up to the ceiling, and then come down. And don't force it, really gentle, just a really gentle, simple twist. Just watching that neck isn't a little tense, try and feel that you're moving but not forcing. It should just free up a little bit by itself. So by the time we do this final last one, perhaps your spine can move a little bit further back or rotate a little bit more. Good. Now we're going to come up onto our forearm and do a little side plank. So I'm going to do it on my knees because we've had a holiday, but if you are feeling really fit, feel free to straighten your legs for this. I'm going to lift up my side torso, push my forearm into the floor, just lift up my hips and just take a body weight side plank. Breathe, hold yourself here. We're going to take a rest, so rest your hips down. I'm going to repeat. So if that felt easy, maybe you want to go for straight legs this time, or one leg straight, you choose. Okay, so same again, or a little harder if you felt good. Now imagine you're trying to make the space under you bigger by lifting your hips up more and trying to hold yourself away from the floor as far as you can. And just hold it there for another few moments. And then we're going to bend our knees and come down. Now we're going to come into a little mermaid. So come up to sitting. So you can sit with your knees stacked like that, or you can take it into a little 90-90. Okay, both are good. Take hold of your shin. Arm up. If this isn't good on your hips, just do a different position. Side bend over. And think of that lovely stretch through those ribs again. Breathe. If you slightly lean forward, that sometimes gets the bit that's tight around that sort of area of the ribs, side body. And we're going to come up. Okay, now we're going to swing our legs around and do that whole side combination on the other side. So set up again, so lying on my side. My legs are a bit forward for this first one. Head is relaxed. Feet are flexed, help me some balance a little bit. Hand is here, gonna lift up my top leg. Imagine I'm reaching my top leg back a little bit longer, bringing my leg in line with my body, and imagine it's really parallel, so I'm not turned out. I'm really kind of kneecap pointing forward, okay? And then as I do my little leg lifts, you should feel the muscles at the side of the hip here, and then you know you're kind of doing it right, okay? And if you wobble, wiggle your pelvis a lot, you won't necessarily feel that as well. So stabilizing the pelvis will help you work your hip muscles more. So find put your hand there if it helps you, gives you a bit of feedback. Good, now hold the leg up in the air. Imagine you're reaching it, I'm dragging you by your ankle again, and we're gonna do little circles here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then resting on down. Okay, so the side lift, hand down, bring the legs a little bit back, lift the 2 legs up, get your balance. Okay, when we're ready, breathe out, 2 legs up and down. Exhale and lift and down. Think of the bottom leg pushing up the top leg. 2 more times, and we can do the inner thighs next. So hold it up there, lower and lift the underneath leg, squeeze up. Under, squeeze it up. 2 more. Now we've got the next one, that up, up, down, down. Keep trying with that, and it gets tough. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. 2 more sets. Last one. Hold it there, see if you can take a little balance. And then relax them down. Okay, we've got our side plank next. So come off. Oh no, we've got our twists. Nearly skipped it. So, and this is a nice one. Sorry about that. So bend your knees, hands behind the head. So nice and calm, doing our little gentle twisting action. And as we're doing that, we're kind of trying to shine our chest up to the ceiling. Legs stay roughly still. And 2 more times. Good, and now we're going to move on into our side plank. Okay, so remember, knees is great, straight legs is great, whatever is good for your body this morning. Whatever position you're doing, lift the side torso and push into your forearm and just see if you can support yourself. Body weight, isometric exercise, this is a static hold. And you might have read in the newspaper last month, they were talking about how these kind of static hold positions are supposed to be the best thing you can do to lower your blood pressure, or one of them, as a form of exercise. And then coming down. Now we're going to do it again. So same again, if it felt easy, maybe try the straight legs version. Okay, so set yourself up, get into a good position, bring yourself up, hold, breathe. Remember, you're trying to lift yourself away from the floor. Another couple of moments. And then lowering the hips down. Good. We're going to come into our mermaid. So you can do with stacked feet, or you can do in that 90-90. Either's fine. Hold the shin. Take the arm up, and we're going to do a little side bend. Really trying to free up that rib cage a little bit. Breathe into it. A little bit of a lean forward, maybe. See how it feels on your body. For me, it definitely gives me slightly more of a stretch down there. And then coming up. Now we're going to stretch our inner thighs with that seal puppy position. So feet together, knees apart. And you're trying to gently let your knees open so that the inner thigh gets a stretch, having done those hip exercises. Round over. Breathe into it a little bit. Nice and calm, back is rounded. Now we're going to close our knees and roll onto your back one more time and do the figure of 4 hip stretch. So take a moment to just roll back again. lying down on your back. We're going to cross one ankle over the other knee. You're going to reach your leg up if you want to. So it's either this option or that option. If you feel when you lift the legs up that your neck does that, then rather put your foot down so that you don't feel your neck's a bit compromised. We want to be able to still keep the spine where it is, whether you're up or down. And then switching over, little side, little figure of four, so here or here. Stretching our hips a little bit. Good, and then uncrossing your legs. So you can do a roll up to sit or a little rock up. Bring yourself up to sitting. And we're going to do a little upper body strength work. So lots of different options for a sort of basically a push-up, a body weight exercise. So you can do this against a wall, which is really good if you're injured, or you find you'll find these really hard and maybe it's a really challenging one for you. Do it against a wall. Otherwise, you could do it in a all-fours position, like this, or you can do a three-quarters, like a fitness three-quarters push-up position like that, so you can do that. Or if you know you're strong, go ahead, plank is good, but only if you're pretty confident that you can keep your form and not sag in the waist, okay? So I'm going to do it on my knees in a three-quarters position, but feel free to adjust to your own body, okay? So I'm trying, in Pilates we tend to try aim for tricep push-up, so my fingers are pointing forward, and as I bend my elbows, they're coming to the side of my ribs rather than out to the edge, and pushing up. Now, as you do your set of push-ups, try and really keep your torso, keep that nice alignment in the spine. So you're using your abdominals not to sag in your back. I'll give it a couple more times. And last one. Good. And then sit back and give, when you've done a set, sit back and just rest in a little rest position again and just take a breather. Give your wrists a little shake out. And if the wrists feel a little tight, quite a nice wrist release is to do that sort of prayer, upside down prayer, just moving the wrist from that different positions, just to release it a little bit. Okay, now we're going to do a hip stretch. So if you come up onto your knees, feel free to pad under your knee if there's any issue in your knee and it's painful. We're going to step one foot forward. And this is, we're after that really strong inner thigh, front of thigh hip stretch, sorry. So put your spare hands on your thigh and lean a little bit forward, but not too far. And then really concentrate on trying to tuck your pelvis. So you're really dropping the tail and pulling up the abdominals. And just pause when you start to find that strong stretch. Take a few breaths there. And then rock yourself back, okay? So this is a really great place to stretch. Most adults, because we spend a lot of time sitting in chairs in modern life, and the front of the hip gets very kind of tight, those muscles. So we want to really try and open the hip. Lots of sports we do, like cycling and running, also kind of create a lot of tightness here. So it's a really good stretch for most people. Now we're going to do a lunge on the next one, which is optional. So if you're feeling okay here, you can go a little more and see if you can put your opposite hand down. And then you can either stay here, it's already a big stretch, or you can tuck your back toes and lift up your back knee. So now you're in this super deep lunge. If you're happy here, you can add a nice twist. So I'm going to take my other arm up and look up at the ceiling. Breathe, let your hips lower if you can. And then we're going to drop the back knee and rock ourselves back and switch legs pretty much. So it's change over. So hands on the front to support, lean a little bit. Think of that dropping the tail, that tuck, lifting up through the tummy, breathe. And then rocking a little bit back and just going through again. So you can just stay with this level stretch. If you're feeling really happy doing this, you can add on, so hand could go down. I can lift my back knee, that's making it into a really deep lunge, trying to lower my hips down, taking some breaths. Twist, look up to the ceiling, breathe. And then come down, drop the back knee. up. Good. Now we're going to do one more time of plank, and then we're going to walk to our feet and walk up to stand. Okay, so as long as you're okay with that, otherwise just meet us standing. So just take another few breaths just in a plank position pretty much. So spread out the hands, step the feet back, see if you can just hold yourself here, breathe, push the floor away, nice and calm. Now I'm going to lift my hips up into that upstretch position, bring my feet in a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to bend one knee at a time and really stretch out those ankles and calf muscles again. Shake out your head, make sure your neck's not all tensed up. I'm going to walk my hands and feet towards each other. Bend your knees as much as you need. Have a little forward fold here. I quite like holding my elbows, that's optional. Shake out the head, bend your knees a little bit more, and then a little bit less, and then a little bit more. Nice and easy. I'm going to relax my arms, and I'm just going to unroll myself up to standing fully. And just take a moment standing up. Okay, we're going to do 2 standing exercises. We're going to do a hip hinge or a squat, which is not fun, but really, really beneficial for our bodies. So take your feet as wide as your shoulders. We're pretending we're sitting in a chair, okay? So I'm going to tip my hips back, and I'm going to lower myself down as if I'm trying to sit down on a chair. Hold there, and then push yourself up to standing, okay? So imagine you're slow motion sitting down, reaching the hips back and really bending the knees. Hold, and then standing up. We're going to do it 3 more times. It's a good leg hip strength challenge. Go as deep as you feel confident. Hold it there, breathe. Go ahead and stand all the way up. Make sure when you stand up, you're not using one leg more than the other. And if you can see yourself, often people do this and they're really on one leg more. They're on their favorite strong leg. So if you do it in a mirror or you look at the camera, make sure you're really on your weaker side, your less dominant leg, equal on both legs and equal to stand. Okay, one more time. We don't realize we're doing all those little one-sided tendencies, but if you check, I know for my body, I definitely prefer my right leg. And then stand up. Okay, good. Shake out your legs. We're just going to rise up and down. So find somewhere not on a squashy mat, probably. Doesn't have to be near the camera. Okay, spread out your toes. Stand up nice and tall, shoulders back. Now, gently press your 10 toes into the floor, just lightly. And when you rise up, try to keep the toes lightly pressing. So often the big toe wants to flick up. And then that's when we'll rock out into our ankles. So keep the big toe connected. You might not rise up as high, but you'll be using the muscles in your foot a little bit more effectively. And you might notice that the feet, the muscles in the foot are working harder. Okay, and just keep going. And we want to go till we feel that our calf muscles are starting to feel a bit of fatigue, so that we're stimulating that muscle growth. Good. Another couple of times. And down. Good. Shake out your legs, give them a little shake. Lastly, let's just repeat our shoulder stretch from kneeling again. So just one more time, roll your shoulders back, clasp your hands, reach down and away and shine your chest up a little bit. And then release the hands, give yourself a hug. Round, look, maybe round a little more, look at your feet, feel that lovely stretch in the upper back, in the spine. Bring yourself up, repeat. One more time, last one. Interlace down and out, shine your chest a little bit. Release the hands, give yourself a hug, breathe. And then roll yourself up, roll your shoulders back, and well done. You're all done for the day. Well done. I'm gonna stop my recording. Oops.
Hang on, get the right button.